Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to this latest episode of Depression Help, which is part 3 of suicide, which is obviously a difficult topic and something that I want to do justice to because it's such an important topic, and so it's taken a few episodes to cover it. I'm going to assume you've just watched the last episode. If not, then maybe go and quickly rewatch it. It's only 20 minutes, and or maybe you remember what I said, or maybe you don't need to, whatever. But I'm just going to dive straight back into it. So yeah, when I reached that point personally of thinking about how, which was the lowest point I've ever been at. That for me was the point of breakdown. I've talked about having a person you can go to, having that person identified in your mind for future. I've done that, even though I don't think I'll ever need them. I've still done that. That's smart, that's self-preservation, when you are in a good place and you know that your life has value, just in case you reach a point where you feel like it really doesn't and you need that safety net. So for me in that situation, for me, what very much the reason for me for doing something to make sure I would still be around was my dogs. And that's going to sound sad to people who aren't dog lovers, but dogs are like part of your family. I mean, you've had them since you were puppies, or if you have, I have. They've been dependent on you their whole lives. They love you. They can't wait to see you. They rarely go in a huff with you. They're so affectionate, so loving. It's unconditional love. And if you've brought up dogs from when they were puppies and you've loved them since they were tiny, and you've worried about them when they're sick, you've nursed them, you've helped them, you've put up with all the crap that comes with them, literally as well, then that's a very strong bond, especially for somebody. I'm a massive animal lover. I've been a veggie since I was 8. I love all animals. I'm the kind of person who feels upset when I drive past a squashed wild animal on the road. That's how soft I am, really. I love animals, so so I really love my dogs, and I can't I struggle to walk past a dog without petting it. I really love dogs. So for me, in that mind space, in that head space, I could reason that, which is still quite scary. I could reason that such and such family member, yeah, okay, they've been upset, but they get over it. Blah 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 blah. I arrived at a point, where I was going through that thought process that my dogs wouldn't get over it, and that was the reason for me. That was a reason not to give up, and it's still upsetting even now, as you can see, and it's probably another reason why I've been putting off talking about this, because I've done well in not getting upset in any of these episodes. I got upset in a lot of the episodes where I talked about my experiences with the church, which is not surprising, and I was also in a really bad place when I was making them, so if I was recovering topics now, I'd probably say some things more kindly and differently, but I was basically living in fight or flight mode for goodness knows how long. Yeah, that was my reason. So have a reason, have lots of reasons, and it was basically a case of, do I go to the hospital, or and tell them this is why I've been putting this off. Do I tell them that I'm a danger to myself? Past tense. And I think the reason that I didn't do that is because I had the dogs, and I had to do something with the dogs. So I went to my parents and to their house, and basically just absolutely cried my heart out. This is nothing. Absolutely cried my heart out for what felt like half an hour. And I was able to tell them that nothing new had happened. Because obviously, you know, they were going about their day as normal, and then all of a sudden I turned up extremely upset. So reasonable question in their mind would be, you know, something else happened. So, and dogs, as cute as they are, you know, they were all cuddling into me because they could see I was upset. And while I was sitting there being that upset, you know, I was still sort of thinking, you know, should I go to the hospital? Is that what I should do? And that wasn't pleasant. It wasn't nice. But hey, you know, if you ever feel like that, where you're actually thinking about how, and you know, you've managed to convince yourself that your family would get over it. Your friends would get over it. Just go to hospital. You know, go to hospital and just tell them that's how you feel. Because you're precious, and the scary thing is I'm actually really good just now, you know. I'm actually really good. I'm not 100%, but I'm really good. This is the first time I've been upset like this when I'm really good, and it's just because I'm revisiting and also thinking about other people who might feel this way, the way that I felt then, or the way that I feel now. So you're precious, and whether you feel like it or not, whether you feel like you've got anything going for you, whether you feel like you've got a future, you do, and just go and get help, and don't give up, because I've been there for several family and friends who have had to deal with and held their hands when they're crying, and had to talk about somebody's life, their short life, several times. And it's so hard for people to understand. Just go and get help. Don't do it. Don't go there. Don't ever take your own life. Don't ever do it. Just if you've got nothing else to go on, then take it from me. Don't do it. Just hang in there. There's lots of stories out there of people who have tried and failed, and people who've been there, who've completely turned their lives around and It's not easy, but you can. Just don't do it. Don't go there. Just talk to someone, get some help. Yeah, just don't do it. It's so hard for people. It's so hard. It's hard for the person doing it as well. You know, that doesn't matter because that's their job. You know, if I do a funeral as a minister, currently an independent minister, that's a job. It's part of the job, but it doesn't make it easy. It's not easy at all. It's so hard. It's so hard to deal with, and that's as the person helping people through it. I've done suicide funerals for people who've committed suicide as a celebrant as well, that's probably more difficult because when I was doing funerals as a celebrant, I was very much doing non-religious funerals as a minister, calling myself a celebrant, and with integrity because I was doing what people wanted, and I was helping them in the way that they wanted to be helped, according to what they believed. But for me, it was very much something I was doing as I was doing a non-religious service as a minister because that was what was going to bring peace to the family and friends. And if I could have, that's something I would have had no hesitation in doing as a parish minister, because it's not up to me to impress my beliefs on other people, and that's one of the many ways that the church has failed, and one of the many reasons that people have been able to create business for themselves and income for themselves by doing things that the church hasn't done, hasn't been willing to do. So, but yeah, I don't want to talk about the church. It's just kind of inevitable when you're talking about ministry and funerals, and I think that's the reason why when I found out I'd lost my status, I didn't feel like I could keep doing funerals at that point. Thankfully, you know, I've reached a point now where I thought about it when I was away, and I've actually reached a place now where there's no reason why I shouldn't, and I'm definitely not going to say no to anyone who asked me to conduct a funeral for them, because there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't, and I'm better trained and qualified than most people who take funerals. That's not a dig at anyone, it's just true. I spent half my life training to do that, and half my life discerning, being assessed, training and doing that. I've spent the same amount of time training as a doctor to be a doctor, I don't think there's any reason at all that people can do that, can conduct funerals who don't have that qualification. If they can give a service that people are happy with and they're doing a good job, then you know, good for them. And I've definitely been known to step into different sectors to do different things that might impede off people who are actual professionals in that field. For example, when I had a tooth whitening company, dentists didn't like people who did tooth whitening, but you know, I didn't go to uni for 7 years or whatever to train to be a dentist, so you can understand why dentists were a bit miffed that people were doing something that they trained a long time to do and were a professional at. You know, if somebody does a 2-week course and then they're doing part of the job that used to be just your profession. But I don't have any issue whatsoever, and I didn't when I was a parish minister, with people doing funerals as celebrants or weddings. Not at all. You know, each to their own. Give people what they want, and if the church isn't giving you what you want, then I don't blame you for looking elsewhere. And that's what people have been doing for decades. But the church is too stubborn to see it or do anything about it, or they're maybe not too stubborn to see it, but they're too stubborn to do anything about it. So, but yeah, not getting back into that. So, Don't do it. Don't do it to your family. Don't do it to your friends. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a decision you can never take back. It's a decision, you can't live to regret. I mean, I don't think there's much point in regret in life in general anyway, but you can't ever undo it. It's what do people call it? A permanent solution to a temporary problem. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You can't trust your feelings. You can't make that decision. You can't. If there's another place that you go when you die, and I'm saying if because I know some people believe there is and there isn't. If what makes you, whether you have faith or not, whether you're religious or not, it's irrelevant. Really, it's not irrelevant. But for this point, it's irrelevant. If you believe that there's something that makes you, that makes you individually you, if you believe that you're not just a flesh and blood computer, so okay, if you put yourself in an X-ray machine or an MRI machine or whatever, if you look at your physical body, then it's similar, very similar, more similar than different to everyone else's, right? Your brain, your tissue, your fat, your bones, whatever. But there's something that makes you uniquely you, that makes you different from everyone else. Not just your name, but who you are. And if that's something that, whatever you call it, whether you call it the spirit, whether you call it the soul, whether you're religious and you believe that it's your soul or your spirit or whatever, if you believe that there's something that makes you, different from everyone else, your personality, your character, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to wrap that parcel up, up in a parcel, if you want to call it your soul, your spirit, whatever, it's not unreasonable to think that whatever that is that makes you could exist beyond your physical body. And so, if death isn't the end, and if when your physical body dies, some part of you lives on, that spirit, that soul, whatever you want to call it, your personality, your whatever makes you, if that part of you looks back and regrets that it no longer has a physical body, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're religious and you believe that when you die, I don't believe for a second that people who commit suicide go to hell. Just to get that out there, I'm Presbyterian, I'm not Catholic, and I don't know whether that's currently preached or not, but that's purely from hearing it so many times in movies growing up, which lots of people will have as well. So I don't actually know whether that's something that's currently preached or not, but I don't believe that if you commit suicide you go to hell. If you are religious and you believe, if you're a Christian, for example, you believe that you have a soul that will live on beyond your body, and if you're a Christian, you believe that you'll have a new body, probably depending on your persuasion. There's quite a broad spectrum of different Christians, from fundamentalists to why are they not an atheist? So even within Christianity, people have different beliefs about things. So, but basically, a lot of Christians believe that they'll have a new body. Something that Apostle Paul talks about. So you'll have a new body, a new version of your own body. You'll be recognizable as yourself in heaven. But the point is that part that you're never coming back to live as you did on earth. Whatever you believe, whatever you do, people don't commit suicide and then come back as much as the people who are left behind wish they could, and probably for years yearn and wish. If there is part of you that lives on, it's definitely going to regret it. I put it to you that it's going to regret it. It's going to think that was a bad decision. What do you believe? Do you believe you're going to be a ghost? You can see things, but you can't touch anyone. You're going to be frustrated because you can't talk to anyone, or you can't interact in the physical world. I don't know what you believe. Maybe you believe the switch just goes off and that's it. I don't believe that, but you're entitled to whatever you believe, 100%. I'm very much each to their own. Love everyone, try and be kind to everyone, don't judge anyone, and obviously as a human being I don't always do that perfectly, but that's what I'm aiming for always. It's a decision you can't take back, and depending on what you believe, it's something you could later regret. It's definitely something that your family will regret. It's definitely something that your friends will regret, and they're gonna be left feeling, they're gonna blame themselves as well. I'm really sorry to tell you that, but they are gonna blame themselves. And whatever, I'm just trying to think of things that are true, that I know, that I've experienced, that might help you think, rethink. Just to use that tiny small bit that's left, and just to send somebody a red flag if you've pre-arranged to do that, or call 999, or call NHS 24, just do something, and don't be ashamed. It's not your fault. You didn't bring this on yourself. You might feel like you did, but you didn't. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. If you had a heart attack, you wouldn't have any hesitation about calling 999 and say, help, I'm having a heart attack. If you reach a place where you're a danger to yourself, that's not your fault either. It's not your fault. Not your fault. And you still should urgently seek help. We're in a completely different place from where we should be, and where I believe we will be in time, where there's similar attitudes to physical and mental illness, but right now unfortunately we just have to accept that if you struggle with mental illness, if you reach that point, if you know where you feel like you don't want to be here, some people are going to think you're weird. That's okay, just let them, you know, because there's also other people who totally understand. And let me tell you this, a lot of people who get into psychiatry and who study psychology, become psychologists, and just doctors, don't mean just doctors, I mean doctors in general, a lot of them have been where you are. A lot of them struggle with their mental health. A lot of people who get into psychology and psychiatry do so. They take such a big interest in it because they struggle with their mental health. So you're going to be among friends if you do reach out for help. And at the very least, your GP should be adequately trained to empathise with you, even if they don't understand from personal experience, and they should get you the appropriate help, and I'm sure they will, absolutely sure they will. So I really hope that's helpful. You can't trust the way you think right now, you can't trust the way you feel right now. Just make that choice. Just make the choice. Whether you tell somebody who loves you or not, whether you just go to the hospital, get in the car, drive to hospital if you're fit to do so. Call 999, call NHS 24, call the Samaritans, call someone. Just call anyone. Tell them that you feel like you're a danger to yourself. You're embarrassed about that. If you are embarrassed about it, just tell them, and I'm sure they'll reassure you. Just don't give up. If you ever start to feel, if you're having suicidal thoughts in general, as I said, get help. But if you're actually at the point where you're thinking about how, please just go and tell someone that. Please just go and tell someone. Just do it. Do it for me, if for no other reason. If you don't have dogs and you've nothing else left to go on, and you end up watching this, then just do it for me. I've been there, I've come back from there. I'm not where I'm going to get to, I have faith that I'm going to get to where I want to be. But yeah, I've come back from that, and I've got a long way to go. Didn't did well for about 20 years, and the last time I made a full-time wage was 2019, just before the pandemic. So I've got lots of catching up to do. Definitely, it's been very, very, very humbling to have never worried about money, or hardly ever worried about money for a very long time, and then had to come back from nothing. But I mean, having a breakdown and liquidating your net worth for money to live on, liquidating your assets to live on because you're not fit to work and you're trying to desperately leave the country to start over, that's expensive. Not being in a position where you can function well for a long time and are fit to work, that's expensive. You lose a lot of money, and that's hard. It's hard going, but it's almost a year since I came back to Forfar, and I can't tell you how good it was just to actually start earning some money again, even though it's not that much. After feeling trapped and unable to do anything and unable to make myself do anything, and thinking that, am I going to end up living on benefits? There's nothing wrong with that if you are, if you genuinely need to be, but nobody would have ever predicted that, ever. Never. So I really hope that's helpful. I think I'm going to do one more talking about maybe just one that might be helpful to people who have been through suicide, have lost someone to suicide, and I think listening to that will maybe be helpful for people who are thinking like that, thinking that life's not enough, that they can't keep going or whatever. So I can definitely see why I was putting this off. I wasn't thinking, I'm going to put it off in my head, but I can see why I was putting this off, because this has really not been easy to talk about, and I did not expect to get really very upset, because I'm doing really well, not doing as well as I want to be in terms of material success or business success, but in terms of health wise, I'm doing really good, and I feel like I'm beating the odds. I'm going against the odds, and I've never minded being the underdog, but I wouldn't have chosen to be. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and take care of yourselves.